Hello friends, this is Nikhil Vijay. Welcome to my YouTube channel InfoStreet. We all make mistakes, but few mistakes may turn our lives upside down and it may also cost us a lot. So in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys the most expensive mistakes ever made in the human history. So let's get started. Typing errors are common, right? But let's see few events where small typing errors has costed a huge loss for a company. Number 10. In the year 2005, a Japanese company had enormous amount of money and it had offered one share for 6,10,000 yens, which is around $5,000. But the stockbroker ended up typing 6,10,000 shares for 1 yen. Due to this small typing error, the company had faced a huge loss of $225 million. Number 9. Could you imagine traveling in a flight for just $39? Yes, it had happened once. An airline company called Alitalia had done a small typo. It had typed $39 for a ticket instead of $3,900. Before the company could fix the error, around 2,000 tickets were sold. The company honored the cheap tickets and had to face a loss of around $7 million. In our schools, we are taught about the importance of placing the decimal points in the correct place and also the correct usage of measuring units. Let's see two events where these two had costed a huge loss. Number 8. In the year 2013, the Spanish Navy had decided to build 4 submarines named S-81 Isaac Perel. But after its manufacturing, it was discovered that the submarine had weighed 75 to 100 tons more than its actual weight. Due to this, the submarine, once submerged, could not resurface again. This mistake was actually due to the incorrect placing of decimal point in one of its calculations. So this small error had costed a total loss of $3 billion for the Spanish Navy. Number 7. In September 1999, NASA's Mars orbiter had broken up into pieces just before it had arrived its destination after a 10-month-long journey. But the reason for its failure was because of the people who had sent it to space. The Jet Propulsion Lab had measured the units in meters and millimeters, whereas the Lockheed Martin Aeronautics had measured the units in inches and feet. And they had failed to recognize that the units had to be converted. So due to this, when the orbiter was around 57 kilometers from Mars's surface, it had broken up into pieces and been destroyed completely. This small error had led to a loss of around $328 million in 1999, which is equivalent to around $500 million presently. So it teaches us to stick to one measuring unit. Number 6. In the year 1980, a drilling exhibition was conducted by a company called Texaco in Lake Peigneur, and it had turned the 11-foot deep freshwater lake into a 1,300-foot saltwater lake. So on 20th November, an oil rig drilling was performed on the lake, and this drilling had led to the damage of the dome of a diamond crystal salt mine located underground. This damage was due to a small miscalculation done by the company called Texaco. So the hole on the dome had sucked all the 13 billion liters of water, the entire drilling platform, 65 acres of nearby terrain, and all this led to a huge loss of around $140 million for the company. And due to all this, Lake Peigneur is considered to be the most expensive man-made lake in history. Number 5. For a man with a mustache, it doesn't take much time to shave it off, right? But for Henry Cavill or Superman, not shaving his mustache had costed around $25 million. Let's see how. After the shooting of the movie Justice League, Warner Brothers decided that few shots had to be retaken. But by that time, Henry Cavill had already begun the shooting of another movie, Mission Impossible, in which he had a mustache. So Henry Cavill was reluctant to shave off his mustache, and the entire retake and the removal of Henry Cavill's mustache in the VFX effects had totally costed $25 million. Isn't it too costly just for a single mustache, guys? Number 4. In the year 2009, a man had owned around 7,500 bitcoins. But later during his shifting, he had thrown away the hard disk which contained the information of his ownership of those 7,500 bitcoins. Later, in the year 2017, when the value of those bitcoins had risen tremendously, he couldn't prove his ownership of those 7,500 bitcoins, due to which he had lost a fortune of $148 million. Number 3. This is an event where just few droplets of water had led to a loss of around $1.4 billion. So in the year 2008, US military's B-2 bomber jet had crashed few seconds after takeoff. Luckily, the pilots had ejected before the crash. After the investigation, it was found out that a little bit of moisture had seeped into few of its sensors, which had led to the crash. And just few droplets of water has caused the most expensive crash in history. Number 2. In one of my previous videos, I had spoken about the world's worst nuclear disaster at Chernobyl. Even this disaster was due to a man-made error, and it had costed a total loss of $200 billion. Last but not the least, number 1. We all are familiar with Steve Jobs, and few tech-inclined people are familiar with Steve Wozniak. But most of us are unfamiliar with the third founder of Apple, Ronald Wayne. Steve Jobs' strong personality had clashed with Ronald Wayne, due to which Ronald Wayne had sold his 10% stock in Apple worth around $800 in the year 1976. If he wouldn't have sold his $800 share in Apple, Ronald Wayne would have become the world's richest person with a net worth of around $125 billion by the year 2019. According to us, as outsiders, we might feel that it is a mistake, but in his perspective, it may or may not be a mistake. So friends, out of all these mistakes, do comment which mistake has fascinated you the most. So friends, I hope you like this video. Do subscribe my channel InfoStude for more videos on interesting topics.